Hello. So, welcome to the new moon in Sagittarius intention setting ritual. And I know that there are a lot of people who are not going to be able to make the live, but in the quantum way of things, we are going to be doing that with hi, Rebecca. We are going to be doing it in such a way that we will include anybody that's watching the recording into a um, part of our you can tell Mercury is retrograde into part of our group. So we get the energy of the people who are even watching the recording, and we send everything up together because that's how quantum works. There is no time limitation for anything. So it's very interesting that actually that works because it eliminates also the space between people as well. So hello. And what I wanted to do was have everybody think about where Sagittarius is in their chart and what house that may be for you. So what I wanted to briefly cover before we get started. Oh, I'm just going to give everybody time to get in. Hello, everyone. How did Thanksgiving go? Hello. I have to admit that I had a Mercury retrograde moment. I actually, until yesterday, thought today was November 30th, and apparently so did Jen. So she said she put out a notice, and then she had to go back and correct it. And I'm like, Mercury retrograde, Mercury retrograde. So it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, it's very interesting that Mercury is going to be having its Kazemi on the 5th of December. So that's when that's when Mercury and the sun are both conjunct. Hello, everyone. Oh, it's so nice to get to see people live. That's what's fun for me because I can recognize everybody's names and stuff from the stuff that we do with Soulful Revolution and also the spiritual view. So I also want to remind everybody that the spiritual view is on tomorrow at 10 Eastern. So we usually have a little bit of a chat, and then we do some card readings for people. We also do that on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I think the only thing is the week of Christmas, we have the schedule change, and I think we've let everybody know. So, there we go. So it's all very good that's going on here. Okay. So what I wanted to just touch on to begin with is what is Sagittarius in your chart? This new moon is at 9 degrees. So I would say anything that is in that area of that 9 degrees is going to be definitely affected. I would go 4 to 5 degrees either side of that. And because we have the retrograde from Mars that's coming so close in following this new moon, I think that's very much going to be a part of what's going on. So let me just, as a baseline, cover what the houses are. So for the first house, that would be yourself, your body, your character, your appearance. So anything that you might want to set an intention for or regarding change or developing that would be an intention for the first house. The second house is the house of money, finances, your possessions, your income, your resources. So it doesn't have to be just money. And so if you want to set intentions to increase that area of your resources, you can do that for that house. For third house, that is the house of siblings, short trips, automobiles, early childhood education, or things that you're learning as a newbie, and communication skills. Those are all in the third house. The fourth house is the most private house. That house is about your family, your home, your property, your parents, maybe things that are inherited, but very much about your private life. And so what may you want to improve with Sagittarius about your private life or your home? Sagittarius would be someone who would go and travel and then bring back really cool stuff to decorate their house with from on foreign travels. So the fifth house is the house of good fortune, sex, children, creativity, the children of your mind. So anything that you create, there's the writer of children's books, there's have strong things in the fifth house. It's also about how you have your public persona. So if you have to get up and speak in front of people, this would be an area that would be under the fifth house. The sixth house is the area of health, your everyday habits, the people that you work with, the people that you see every day. And it's also the house of pets, especially dogs. But it's something that you're going to do on a regular basis, on a daily basis, especially if it's regarding any kind of health situation. The seventh house is the house of the other, another person's relationship. Just want to make sure I have everybody here. But yes, it's definitely the house of the other. So the first house is yourself. The seventh house is the house of the other. Now that could be a partner, that could be a best friend. It could be your children once they've matured and that relationship has changed. So that house would be about your relationships with other people. It could even be a frenemy. It could be an enemy. It's an open enemy. In the eighth house, that's the house of death and rebirth, inheritance, your assets, shared assets, your spouse's money possibly. And it can also be, because it's a very spiritual house, it can also be spiritual gifts that you may have inherited from your family. So if you have a lot of things in that house, and you feel that you've gotten gifts that may have been passed down, that is something that you could maybe develop with that Sagittarius, which is also about learning things. So the ninth house is about travel and foreign things, and especially foreign travel, long distance travel, education, publishing, your belief system, the law. So anything related to any of those topics, if that's in Sagittarius, maybe you are having some kind of legal thing going on and you want to hope for the best possible outcome, and you can set that as an intention. Now going forward into the 10th house, that is your house of career. That is your house of your public reputation. If you're no longer working, it could be what you're best known for. Say if you make the world's best chocolate chip cookies or something and you're known for that thing in particular, or you crochet and make beautiful things, or you quilt, things like that. Anything that you're known for out in the world. The 11th house is the house of luck. It's the house of networking, alliances, the internet, friendship groups, people that you choose to associate with, politics. Any of those things are that 11th house. And especially if you're looking for your own tribe, if you're looking to connect with people, that's an area that you can really set intentions for with Sagittarius, especially if you want to do any long-term travel in the future with people, or even just plan a trip. I know that Soulful Revolution is going to be going on a retreat this spring, and I think that's sold out right away. But those kind of things where you're choosing to be with other people that have the same interests as yourself. So, and if you want to find more of those kind of people, that's a good place to set that intention and to travel to that place, because Sagittarius would be about that travel. 12th house. The 12th house is about hidden enemies. It's about also, it's another house of being by yourself, of loss, of going on a retreat. That could be that. I've known people that went on retreats to Costa Rica, and they were having very activated things in their 12th house at that time, and they really got a spiritual awakening by doing this. And it showed up, actually, we looked up the specific date in the chart, and that actually worked out for that person. So it's also the house of being in exile, whether it's people that have strong affiliations with hospitals, could have something here. Sometimes it gets activated if you have a loved one that's in the hospital, and there could be something that goes through that area of the chart in transit for you. So there's different things that can show up in that 12th house, but it's also a very spiritual house. So sometimes people will have spiritual awakenings when they have a 12th house that's active. They'll have more dreams. It's the house of dreams. It's the house of where you were before you were born. So those are the basic house information things. I hope that was helpful. Hey, oh, look at the people. I come back to see more of the comments. So yay everyone. So I really think that MT has like 3 Sag placements in your chart. It's going to be very activated. Mercury being very active in this time, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about before we got into our ritual, is that with Mercury going all the way to, it started at 22 degrees and now it started its retrograde. It'll go back and meet the sun on Thursday, the 5th. I believe that's right. Yeah, it's Thursday the 5th. And that'll be at 9:17 in the evening. And that is what they call the Kazemi. And that's when you can get, Mercury gets a download during that time. It gets some extra special information during that time. And it's very interesting that when Mercury retrogrades, it's all going to go back to 6 degrees of Sagittarius. So this is a chance for people to, anything that you have in your Sagittarius house, especially, any personal planets, that's sun, moon, your rising sign, your descendant even. The other personal planets would be Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And if you are ruled by Mercury, that will also have a big effect on you. So if you have Gemini, Virgo very strongly in your chart, if that's your ascendant, that really affects you a lot. The thing about Mercury going retrograde during this time and meeting the sun, and the opposite house from Sagittarius is Gemini, which is where Jupiter is. That's the ruler of Sagittarius. So they're in each other's houses. They call that mutual reception. They're in each other's houses. So that's helpful because they're both in places that normally they don't like to be in. And it would be a lot rougher if they didn't have, a telephone available to talk to the other person. And that's what the mutual reception does. It allows that communication back and forth between the two. But they both are retrograde. So it's not like you're thinking on your best feet right now. And that's what I find. I've got Gemini rising, and I'm like, I just don't feel I'm at the top of my game when it comes to how I think things through. So that can be some of the things that are going on now. And part of what I think this new moon, when you're setting intentions for, I have really studied it and looked at different people's feelings. And what I really feel is that this new moon in Sagittarius is about the archer, that setting your sights high. This is about setting intentions that have no limits, that have absolutely no nothing that'll hold you back, because that's what we're capable of right now in this whole quantum thing that we're stepping into. And we do have a very busy week, especially at the end of this week. On the collective, there's going to be a lot of things going on, and probably in our own personal charts as well. So one of the things I want to say to people out there is Jupiter in Gemini thinks very quickly, but it may not be, like I said, it's not on its highest game. It helps that it can talk to Mercury a little bit, but they're both in retrograde. So it's like, if something comes to you, and with the enthusiasm of Sagittarius, who are just like the happiest go luckiest people in the whole, in all of the signs, right? They'll talk you into getting a tattoo. Now, Mercury normally would like think it over, but Mercury's in retrograde right now. So Mercury's just like, oh, that'd be a great story. That'd be so cool. What a great story. And then you have Jupiter in Gemini that's like, yeah, and it would, really be about you showing your true self and what your beliefs are. And, And then you have a square to Saturn along with this. And Saturn's going, yeah, that's permanent, right? That you might want to give it a little time to think it through. So what I really feel this new moon in Sagittarius is like, think about getting that tattoo if that's what you really want to think about, if that's what you want to aim for. I really don't want you to have any limits when you're setting intentions for this, because what's going to happen is when we get to that new moon on the 15th of December, and I should check the degree of that, but that new moon on the 15th of December is the same day that Mercury goes direct. And this week on December 7th, Neptune is going direct. Right now it's in its station. So we're having a lot of this feeling still of Neptune where you don't quite feel like, okay, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. I don't know what intentions to set. I can't quite figure that out. I'm a bit confused. Yeah, Laura, Neptune at 13 degrees Sag, roll on Kazemi. Yep. Yeah, that might bring a little illumination to you with Mercury and the sun there on your Neptune. You might get some downloads for that. So yeah, it's very interesting, the stuff that is going to be coming through. I think people don't quite know what they want quite yet. My feeling is the sky is the limit. I mean, don't limit yourself as to what you want to intend. The rules don't apply anymore. And I think that's what if you could have anything that you wanted, if you could plan your day to do anything that you want, what would that be? And that's what I think you should set your intentions for. Because what's going to happen between now and that 15th of December is we're going to start seeing things change and develop, and new information is going to become available. So we can then start fine-tuning things. I mean, no one says we can't fine-tune things. And there's so much going on between this new moon in Sagittarius to the full moon in Sagittarius, which is in June. There's, Neptune will step foot into Aries. Uranus will step foot into Gemini. No, they're eventually going to go back. I think Saturn at some point, I think later this, after Neptune goes in, will also step foot briefly into Aries. They won't move in together until, is it early 2027? Or it could be sometime in 2026. But they will move in together to 0 degrees of Aries. And I tell you, the astrologers, you will see all kinds of stuff out there on that particular degree. So the full moon, let me see if I have this here. I do have this here. Flip. The full moon on December 15th is at 2353 of Gemini. So 2353 of Gemini is that moon. So it's very interesting. If you think that about that being Gemini, then that would be, yeah, Taurus is next door. It's going to be coming in eventually. But yeah, I was thinking that Uranus would be coming in, but I don't think so. But I think that is going to clear up some things for us. I think there's going to be things illuminated. Like I said, we have Mercury will then be direct, and then we'll be able to get our plans in motion. We'll still be covering that ground up to that 22 degrees. We don't get out of the Mercury shadow, which is that ground that it's recovering, until after the first of the year. And the new moon in Capricorn, that is the time that I think you can take all these big plans that you're intending and then put a plan to action, because that's a Capricorn new moon. So I think setting that intention for the sky's the limit, anything that you could possibly want, is something that we should all be doing. So anybody have any specific questions before we get started with, I wanted to do just a grounding, and then we'll light our candles and start our ceremony. Solar return is in the 8th. Yeah. If your solar return is in the 8th, I'm guessing that you're probably going to have quite and your North Node is in Pisces. Oh, welcome to your year of awakening, Rebecca Jo. Yeah. And yeah, and the fact that as we go back into when the nodes go January 11th, when the nodes go back into that that area of your chart, it's going to reactivate that 25-degree Pisces eclipse that we had on September 17th. So anybody that had some things happening around that time, you're going to get that revisited when the node goes back over that, and that'll be later this spring, but it will get reactivated. Okay, so let's do a little bit of grounding here so we can take a deep breath in, hold for a moment, release out. Again, deep breath in, hold, slowly release out. One more time, deep breath in, hold, and then slowly release out. Okay. Close your eyes. I'm going to do some brief grounding here with us. Close your eyes. Be in a comfortable position. Imagine a great big light emanating from your heart chakra. This is going to be a green heart chakra light, and it's going to slowly move down past your solar plexus, down into your legs, down into your feet, and it's going to continue downward into the earth for grounding. All of that extra tension that we've been having, we're going to ground that and release that into the ground. Let Mother Gaia take care of it. Feel that flow going down. She will take that energy, and in turn, she's going to give us the fresh energy of nature coming back up into us, energizing us, filling us up with that calmness of nature, coming back up to the heart chakra. And then it's going to continue on up to the throat chakra, up to the third eye, up through the crown chakra. And that light is continuing to move up, shooting out with sparkles up into the sky. Releasing energy, and then pulling back energy from the stars, back into us, back down into that heart chakra, your heart space, calmness, a calm feeling. We are protected by this green light. We're going to create a bubble around us that has sparkles in it. We ask for the protection of Archangel Michael, Archangel Sandalphon, Archangel Metatron, and Archangel Raphael. One more breath in, release out. Okay, good. So, how's everybody feeling? So what I want everyone to do is everybody have your candle, your pen, your paper available. We're all good. We have a little crystal maybe for your energy. Good. Okay. So what we're going to do is I wanted to light the candle and Oops. I will let you see what I'm doing. Now you can light any kind of candle that you want. I know that I have a friend and she uses green candles for abundance and pink candles for love, and white candles for just about anything. So I believe that I decided to use a selenite candle. I think it's beautiful and I like the feeling that I get from it. And then the crystals, I couldn't decide what crystals I wanted to use today. So I brought all kinds of them here. So I do have an amethyst, and this is about protection and wishes. And I do associate it with Sagittarius and also with Aquarius, and that beautiful, bright, shiny energy that I like the energy. I feel it's a combination of a lot of different things, and it's basically a good all-around crystal. I do have a moonstone here, but and then I also have my tiger eye, right? I always think of this as a dragon eye. Very protective energy. And then I have carnelian. I kind of got this energy. I wanted to get this up because it reminds me so much of Mars energy, right? And Mars is going to be going retrograde on December 6th. And there's a few things I wanted to say about Mars. It is starting off in Leo. And I think the creativity that it will bring when it's in Leo, Mars likes being in Leo. It's a fire sign. Mars likes fire signs. And as it moves back, you'll be maybe working on some of the ideas that you've had or have been coming to you, or maybe you'll fine tune those ideas when, while it's still in Sagittarius. Mars will remain in Sagittarius for the rest of December. So that is the energy of creativity. So anything that you may have at that 0 to 6 degrees of Leo, and it's very interesting that Mars, where it's at in Leo, is also when you have Mercury go all the way back to that 5 degrees and then go direct on the 15th, they're not that far apart, honestly. And that would be a trine energy. So that's very interesting to me that they're both going to be, at those, Mercury will go all the way down and then it'll turn direct, but actually Mars will still be in Leo. So the thing to set with your intentions too, I believe, because Mars is going to be very involved in this, is that because this lasts through June, we're going to be facing not only the Mars retrograde, but the Venus retrograde. The Venus retrograde will be in Aries. So when it's the Mars retrograde, things are going to be coming up regarding family and triggers. And I want everybody to set boundaries, because I think that especially over the holidays, people are just going to be like trying to pop your bubbles. And I think that you need to have good boundaries. There's a saying with Mars retrograde, you shouldn't ever start an argument, because the one that starts the argument will lose the argument. And I think that's a very true statement. I think the other thing I always say is you always need to give Mars a job. And I think when it's in Leo, the job should be about your creativity and really digging into that creativity. And when it enters back into Cancer, I think because that's very related to your home and yourself, I think making your home your castle. I think going inward and creating that home space for yourself, wherever that may be. What is important to you, only allow the things in that bring you light and joy, and get rid of everything else. Only the things that, how did someone say? They only allow something into their house that they rate as, between 7, 8, 9, or 10 on a 1 to 10 scale. If it's a 3, it goes. So think about those things going on. So let's go ahead, take a deep breath. And what I wanted to do is invite in the 3 moon goddesses. Hecate is the goddess of the dark moon. She is considered the goddess of witches. She is considered the key holder. She's the goddess of keys. She can go to any realm, whether it is the underworld or to above. She has, just like Hermes does, has a pass that she can get to all of those places, but she is the goddess of keys. She is the goddess of crossroads. A lot of times when she is activated in your chart, you will see her in an area of your chart that you are having an activation about, that you need to make a decision, that something is going on, that you need to make a choice. You have to have a choice made. And that will show up in the chart, very interestingly. The other 2 goddesses, Selena is the goddess of the full moon, and she will be here on December 15th. She is the full moon goddess, so she illuminates things that have been hidden, and then things that no longer serve us can also be released with the intention of moving forward onto better things. So it's very much like, because Pluto has been so involved with us right now with this energy, this is the first new moon in any of the new moons where Pluto is now full-time in Aquarius. So it's very powerful energy that Pluto is giving it. And it'll be the first full moon. It'll be very illuminating. I think there's a lot of things that are going to be coming out. So I would say, watch for the information. There's going to be downloads coming to you. And one of the things I really believe is that any downloads, any information that you get, any things that you've been thinking about, be like the high priestess, right? Or the hermit, and kind of keep those in a space, because I think if you are letting some of that, their dreams out, people are going to talk you out of it. And I don't want people to do that. I want you to really not limit yourself. And I don't want other people to limit you either. And I think by the time things happen and December 15th rolls around and we're going to get more information, that'll allow you to adjust things a little bit. And then the new moon in Capricorn, still in December, then we can start to set things in motion. So we have our candle lit. I want you to pick up in one hand whatever stone you're going to be using. I think I'm going to use the carnelian because of the Mars energy. So we're going to be holding that in one hand. And let me see if there's anything. Yes. Try not to start a fire here. Yes. So I want you to have your crystal in one hand, and I want you to hold it in such a way that you see the light reflected from the crystal. So I'm just seeing a reflection of the candle. So we're empowering that energy into the crystal from the 3 goddesses. Bring it back down. You're going to be holding it in your hand still. Okay. The final goddess is the goddess Artemis, which is very fitting for Sagittarius because she also has a bow and arrows. So what do you want to shoot for? What do you want to aim for? Where do you want to set your sights? And the archer of Sagittarius always has a long distance that it can go. It's about travel, right? It's about, there's a lot of things that you can do. So now I want you with the information that we had about the houses and what you can set your intention for, think about Sagittarius things, about the good feeling of Sagittarius and what house that may be in for you and what other planets you may have there that you can tie in to your intentions. So I want you to just breathe, and you can start noting your intentions on your piece of paper. One of the things I'm writing down is release trying to force the outcome from the universe. This or something better. This or something better. Sagittarius can be about travel if you want to take a trip. If it's in the 9th house, that's especially great. Long distance travel. Education. Sagittarius is about learning more if you want to go back to school, or if you want to learn anything of a higher mind. Spiritual practices included. And of course, this energy will still be available for the next couple days because the energy of that new moon still exists for another couple days. So you can still utilize this energy. Don't forget, you're still holding your crystal while you're setting this intention. How's everyone doing? About finished? Give you another minute more. Okay, so now I want to have you take your paper and fold it up. And what we're going to do is we're going to place it on our heart chakra with our crystal over it. Hold it in place. Breathe in. And now we're going to take you on a little meditation. So here we go. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to picture yourself in a nice warm cabin by a blazing fire. You can hear the fire crackling. You still have your paper and your crystal to your heart. And now you know it's time to go and meet your tribe. So you're going to get up and place your paper and your crystal into a pouch and put on a nice warm coat and leave your cozy cabin and walk towards the woods. As this is a new moon, there is no moon in the sky, but the stars are much brighter now, and you can see a lot more of them. And in the distance, you can see a large fire burning. It's our fire. You take the path up the hill, through the trees that are now bare of leaves. You hear the crunching on the ground as you walk through. And you're coming to a large clearing, and you see the large fire in the center. And many people are gathering around, and we are all together. And you glance around you and see people that you know, and you smile and wish them well. And you greet people who you've not seen before, people who want to be here, people that are eager to be part of our tribe, and you welcome them. Now it is time to gather around the fire in a large circle. And you see the three goddesses approaching. Hecate leads the way, for this is her time. She circles the fire 3 times, and she instructs you to pull from your pouch your paper and your crystal. She instructs you to hold your crystal in your hand and walk towards the fire and place your paper in the fire with others so that they all may be burned together and create even a stronger force as it brightens the fire and the plumes of smoke float up into the starlight. She has circled 3 times around this fire, and she asks that you keep your crystal on your heart as a reminder of your intentions and how real they are. Next, we have Artemis come forward. Artemis circles the fire. She is the huntress. She is not afraid. She pauses in front of each person, and in her hand, she gives each person a bow and an arrow. For you to seek your own wishes. For you to be the bowman of Sagittarius. And she asks that you put that into your pouch so that you can remember to always aim high in your intentions. And as she completes her 3 circles around the fire, Selene steps forward. She also takes 3 turns around the fire, walking slowly. She is the goddess of the full moon. Through her, truths are revealed, and she will also be guiding you during this time. You will need all 3 during the upcoming month. And as she stops, she smiles and invites you to come again when the moon is full, so you can release any feeling or relationship that is no longer serving. and to set your boundaries. Hecate then tells you that it is time to take your crystal and put it back into your pouch, along with the bow and arrow. You have released your paper into the fire, and it has gone up with all the other intentions that everyone else was setting. So now you know it is time to return back to your cabin. As you look around the opening, you see many people. And you are sorry to go, but you know that you have their support and they have yours. As you slowly leave and walk towards your cabin, again, you notice the starlight. And in the starry sky, you will be able to see Mars at night. It will be a reddish star. And it will be very much a part of what is happening in our future. Continue on down the path, back towards the lit cabin that you can see in the distance. And as you enter, the fire is still burning. Not as brightly as when you left, but still there and adding warmth to the room. You go to your cozy chair by the fire and sit back down, and you breathe a deep breath in and release slowly. Another deep breath in. Excuse me, and release slowly. And one more. Deep breath in. And release slowly. Now, you may open your eyes and know that you still have your piece of paper with you, with your crystal, the one that you set your intentions on. And what I want you to do is place it in a special place with the crystal on top, and know that you have released these intentions, and that you will know that it has the power of being with other people's intentions, that we all want the best for each other. So now you can bring back down your paper and your crystal and place it on the table. You can still put your hand on top. Now the crystal feels warm. I can still feel the warmth from the heart chakra in the crystal. And we want to thank all three of the moon goddesses, Hecate and Selene and Artemis, and express our thanks for helping guide us and giving us extra strength and guidance. And also to the archangels who were protecting us today and always, and helping us with our boundaries. Call upon them when you are in fear of your boundaries breaking. And now, you may blow out your candle. And we have completed our new moon intention setting ceremony. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I think it's much more powerful when we do it with the intention of being together. So thank you very much for joining me tonight. And for the people that come to the Spiritual View, I invite everyone here to the Spiritual View, which will be live tomorrow at 10 Eastern. And hopefully we'll be able to read a bunch of cards tomorrow for people. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's a great group of people and a great tribe to be in. And I'm also a Pathfinder with, of course, being a tarot card reader for trained by MJ. And congratulations to any of the new readers that may be here today. So Thank you very much, and congratulations, and welcome to everyone. So I will see some of you tomorrow. If not, you can get messages on my channel, and I will also be doing some things with astrocartography as I get ready for my trip to Europe, and it's going to be a fascinating journey for me. So love to you all. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.